Welcome to today's Explainer. We're putting on our legal analyst and investigative journalist hats today to break down an absolute masterclass in cross-examination. We're looking closely at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, and specifically, the incredibly high-stakes testimony of the suspended Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, or EMPD, Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi. For our executive summary, we're focusing on Mkhwanazi's appearances before Justice Mkhwanazi Madlanga in December 2025 and April 2026, where he faced absolutely severe scrutiny over alleged systemic corruption, rogue unit operations, and crime scene tampering. Now, a really quick disclaimer for our briefing today. While we're diving deep into his testimony, the official commission documents we're reviewing do not cover the details regarding his subsequent April 2026 arrest. But what we do have on record is a fascinating play-by-play look at how a judicial commission untangles fact from fiction.
To really grasp the gravity of what we're dealing with here, we need to understand that this goes way beyond simple administrative errors. Just listen to this quote from evidence leader advocate Kamalo SC. It really hits like a hammer. Quote, "It is not like stealing money or stealing stones. It is a human being." Unquote. That right there establishes the truly harrowing nature of these allegations. We're talking about a human body dumped in a dam. We're talking about a total, devastating failure of the sworn duty to protect. Keep this quote in the back of your mind because it's the dark cloud hanging over every single piece of evidence we're about to look at.
Section 1. The Death Certificate Trap. A question of contempt.
Okay, to understand this trap, let's walk through the timeline. Step 1. Mkhwanazi was scheduled to appear before the commission, but on the Friday right before his Monday appearance, he asked for a postponement, stating that his mother had passed away. Step 2. To prove it, he submitted a funeral program, an ID, and a death certificate for a Mrs. Rafina Petrunia. Seems standard, right? Well, Step 3. Fast forward to his actual appearance in April 2026, and advocate Cello drops a massive bombshell. The commission had quietly pulled the official home affairs records from Mkhwanazi. This completely illustrates the conflict. Mkhwanazi claimed Rafina Petrunia was his mother, and he was the second of her 7 children. But the official home affairs records revealed a totally different story. His parents were actually listed as William and Feni Mariam, people he later tried to claim were his grandparents. Even more damning, the records showed Rafina Petrunia was only 10 years older than Mkhwanazi himself. I mean, think about that. Advocate Cello point-blank accused him of lying to the commission just to delay his appearance, and outright warned him that this could amount to criminal contempt.
When confronted with this, Mkhwanazi didn't back down, but his defense definitely shifted. He told them, "She raised me. It's opening a can of worms." He went on to explain that because of complex family politics and traditional African cultural norms, the woman who raised him was his mother, regardless of biological definitions or Western terms like stepmother. He even said he was deeply shocked and embarrassed to be seeing his own birth certificate for the very first time at age 50. Now, the commissioners did acknowledge the cultural nuances, but they heavily scrutinized his initial failure to clarify this. They called his explanations improbable, marking the first major dent in his credibility.
Moving on to Section 2. The documentary evidence, specifically CAT VIP security.
This brings us to the allegations of a rogue unit and unauthorized relationships. Mkhwanazi testified that his own SWAT unit, the intervention unit, introduced him to highly trained private protectors from CAT VIP, which was owned by an alleged cartel member, Mr. Vusi Matlala. Mkhwanazi claimed he was really impressed by their tactical skills and discipline, pointing out they were former Special Task Force and military members. However, the commission really zeroed in on the wildly blurred lines here between public policing and private security forces running around with blue lights.
So, the absolutely crucial question is, how formal was this relationship? Well, Justice Madlanga read a highly controversial Memorandum of Understanding straight into the record. It explicitly stated that the EMPD, under Mkhwanazi's command, had an endless working relationship and Memorandum of Understanding with CAT VIP to assist EMPD officers in any VIP protection. This piece of paper is a massive, massive liability. It essentially suggests a complete outsourcing of metropolitan police powers to a private, totally unaccountable entity.
And how did Mkhwanazi respond to this document? He outright denied it. He sat there and told the commission, "This man is forging my documents." He completely disavowed the memorandum, claiming he contested it the second he saw it after coming back from suspension. Once again, we're looking at a stark contrast here. A physical piece of paper on one side versus Mkhwanazi's verbal denial on the other.
Section 3. Operations, missing stones, and a $45 million claim. Now, as legal analysts, we have to be extremely precise here. While there's been a lot of public discourse regarding a Mayerton copper theft and an alleged refusal to undergo state security agency vetting, our verified briefing documents today actually do not contain those details. What our records do strictly detail is an incredible 2 a.m. operation involving an informant named Jocko Hennekim, missing precious stones, and the catastrophic financial fallout that followed. And the scale of that fallout, it's staggering. Advocate Sella reveals to Mkhwanazi that a Mr. Prinsloo has actually filed a civil claim against the Ekurhuleni municipality, demanding a massive payment of 45 million rand. This claim arises directly from that operation Mkhwanazi was involved in, where precious stones were confiscated, but then seemingly vanished into thin air. So, how exactly does a 45 million rand liability just happen? Evidence leader Advocate Below ESC absolutely corners Mkhwanazi on his unrecorded actions. Mkhwanazi admits he literally left the scene of the operation early. He simply assumed the confiscated precious stones were handed over to the Johannesburg Metro Police Department. He made a single phone call to check in, but completely failed to secure any official paper trail, receipt, or docket entry. It was an unrecorded success. The commission was visibly astounded. They found it completely senseless that a senior officer could walk away from such a high-value confiscation with absolutely zero documented accountability.
Section 4. The climax. The Emmanuel Bense allegation. This brings us to the ultimate, most horrifying contradiction. On one hand, you have sworn statements from witness Marius van der Merwe, witness D, and another officer placing Mkhwanazi directly at a crime scene where suspect Emmanuel Mbense had died. They claim Mkhwanazi actively discussed disposing of the body in the Sparwana Dam. On the other hand, Mkhwanazi's testimony is a complete and total denial of ever being there. When the commission pressed him on why on earth a witness would invent such a horrific story, Mkhwanazi claimed the witnesses were essentially coached or directed by others to implicate him. The intensity in the room during this exchange is literally palpable even just reading the transcripts. Facing the accusation of ordering a human body to be dumped, Mkhwanazi stated firmly, "I am denying it, I am totally denying it, Commissioner Khumalo." But the commission pushed back hard here. They pointed out how highly improbable it is that multiple witnesses would single him out specifically for a murder cover-up if he wasn't even present.
Section 5. A crisis of credibility.
So let's summarize the key contradictions for our legal review. The commissioners basically have to weigh Mkhwanazi's word against an absolute mountain of discrepancies. First, the home affairs mismatch regarding his mother's death certificate. Second, the disowned CAT VIP Memorandum of Understanding that has his name on it. Third, his own admission of unrecorded, undocumented police actions that resulted in missing stones and a 45 million rand lawsuit. And finally, the deeply disturbing contradiction between his total denial and sworn witness statements placing him at the scene of a murder cover-up.
This kind of systemic failure highlights exactly why judicial inquiries like the Madlanga Commission exist in the first place. When you have a police department seemingly operating in the shadows, creating off-the-books agreements with private security, and leaving no paper trail for millions of rands of confiscated goods, standard internal investigations usually just fail. It takes the relentless, document-driven cross-examination of an independent commission to finally pierce through those embedded networks of deniability.
I want to leave you with this final, crucial thought today. Put yourself right in the shoes of Justice Madlanga and the evidence leaders. When verbal denials constantly clash with official paper trails, totally contradictory witness statements, and bizarre procedural anomalies, how do you enforce accountability? How does a commission actually uncover the ultimate truth when the very people who were sworn to uphold the law seem to operate completely outside of it? It's a chilling question, and it's exactly why understanding the mechanics of these explainers is so vital. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Stay curious, stay focused, and I'll catch you on the next one.